Director for Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, James Hammer Hartzell. So thank you. Appreciate it. Semper Fi. And we also have the Adjutant General of Florida for the National Guard, Jim Eifert. Where is Joe Marino? Are you here? Where are you? Thank you, Executive Director, Veterans Florida. Caroline, Commander here, where are you? Are you still? Yeah, thank you for hosting us. We really appreciate it. I walked in there and they said, do you recognize it? And I'm like, actually, I don't really recognize it. They're like, good, because we've done a lot of renovations. And so you guys have done a really good job, and we're really excited. I also have my great wife, our great First Lady, Casey, here. We have our oldest daughter, Madison. Wave to the crowd. And then we have our boy, Mason. Wave, Mason. Wave to everybody. So he was 9 months when we moved into the Tallahassee in the governor's residence. Madison was a little over 2 years, I guess, at that point. So she always asks about seeing our old house and everything like that. And so we're giving them a chance to maybe be able to do that today. But I want to thank the First Lady for being a real strong supporter of our veterans and our military. And it means a lot for those in Florida. You know, we're proud of the military installations that we have in the state of Florida. We're proud of all the active duty, tens of thousands of active duty personnel that perform duties in Florida. And if you know how military folks think, once they can get that Florida residence, even when they PCS other places, they usually maintain to be Florida residents. It's good for tax purposes. It's also good to be able to vote as a Florida resident, as we know. So the result is sometimes people leave service at one of our duty stations, but even if they don't, a lot of them still have the Florida residency, and so this is one of the first places they look to come back once they leave their active duty service. And so we're proud of that. We're also proud. I was with Danny Burgess and a great bunch of folks in Pasco County a couple days ago to sign the budget, our Florida Leads budget, and I talked about a lot of the high points. I mean, you know, our budget. You know, we are the lowest per capita tax state in the country in Florida, okay? But yet, if you look, our infrastructure is better than these high tax states. If you look at what we did in the budget here, you know, supporting things like infrastructure, K-12 education. We did $1,000 bonuses to every law enforcement, firefighter, and first responder. We supported, continue to have unprecedented support for improving Florida's water resources and infrastructure associated with the water quality in this state, which is so important. We also were able to do all of that, and then we're going to end up probably having like $10 billion in reserve once the new budget takes effect. And so that would not have been possible if we had followed Fauci. Instead, we followed freedom, and that's the reason why Florida's doing better. And so we're proud of the fact that our kids were able to go to school, people were able to work, our businesses were able to operate, and many of them now are at the point where they're doing better than they've ever done. And so we're really excited about that. But that was what we needed to do. We were called upon to make sure we were protecting people's rights and freedoms. That's what we did. And this budget that we're doing, we're probably in a stronger fiscal position from a budget perspective than we even were before COVID, and we were pretty strong before COVID. A year ago, if you would have said that, everyone would have said you were nuts. They would have said this is going to be a disaster for the budget. We're going to have a massive hole and all this other stuff. And you know, we didn't know what was going to happen. I vetoed $1 billion. I vetoed a lot of their guys' stuff. I vetoed some of my stuff last year because we just didn't know. But I had confidence that that Floridians were going to bounce back. We started seeing that last summer and the fall, and things really started to do well. So we're in a much better position than anyone was able to predict. Here today, you know, we're highlighting a number of pieces of legislation as well as some of the military and veterans related budget items. So our budget that we did has $28 million for Florida military families, as well as supporting the military presence in Florida. We did $2 million for Florida's Defense Support Task Force, $1.6 million for the Defense Infrastructure Program, $7.2 million for armory maintenance, $2 million for military base protection, including additional security measures for National Guard armories, $4.1 million to support Florida National Guardsmen seeking higher education degrees, and $11 million to support scholarships for children and spouses of deceased or disabled veterans.
Thank you. All good.
Additionally, the budget includes up to $50 million to construct 2 new National Guard armories in Immokalee and in Zephyr Hills. So it's interesting how, you know, you have a Senate president from Pasco County and they get an armory in Zephyr Hills. But we're happy with that. And so we've also partnered. So the budget support is strong, but we've also worked with the legislature to enact some, I think, pretty significant pieces of legislation. So the first bill I'll sign today is House Bill 429, Purple Star Campuses Bill. And under this bill, a military-connected child can expect, well, under the bill recognizes that under normal circumstances, a military-connected child can expect to move 6 to 9 times from kindergarten through their high school graduation. And some of you may have been, you know, you run into people, where'd you grow up? Well, I was an Army brat, or I was in the Navy, my dad was moving around, or my mom was moving around. So we understand that reality. And we understand that people are coming and going from Florida all the time. We also understand that there are academic challenges that some of these students face as they relocate to new schools when their parents serving in the military is transferred. So this bill embraces military families and ensures access to Florida's world-class school choice options for every military-connected child. The Florida Department of Education, under this bill, will establish a Purple Star Campus program to identify schools that support military-connected children and to demonstrate a commitment to providing support to military families during their transition. So this will include designating a military liaison to directly support families, updating the school website with resources for military students and families, offering a student-led transition program to assist military students acclimate into a new school, expanding staff professional development training opportunities on issues relating to military students, and reserving controlled open enrollment seats for military-connected students to utilize to ensure school choice no matter the time of year that the military transfer takes place. So we think that that's a good piece of legislation, and we look forward to signing that. We're also going to sign House Bill 435 about veterans training and employment. And what we'll do with this bill is break new ground by becoming the first state in the nation to codify in law a statewide skill bridge initiative that matches service members separating or retiring from Florida's 21 military installations and from those across the country with Florida's boundless career opportunities. We're already hearing this bill will likely become a model for other states to use. This creates a statewide awareness and employment program built on the DoD Skill Bridge program through Veterans Florida, public-private created within our Department of Veterans Affairs, whose purpose is to attract and retain veterans and their families by connecting them to employment, training, and educational opportunities. The Skill Bridge program allows service members to gain workforce training with civilian employers while on active duty during their last 180 days as they transition out of the military, helping the folks that stand the post for us to transition from military life to civilian life is an important function that we need to be able to participate in. And I think that this is really going to be helpful to a lot of veterans. You know, when people are getting out, you know, DOD has different things, but there's not always been a great connection between DOD and the actual communities on the ground. They've worked different ways. I think this is going to help bring that together even more, which is really, really good. We also have and recognize the unique skill set that veterans bring to the table. So I'll sign SB 922, which recognizes that every year, about 200,000 service members finish their military service and then re-enter the civilian workforce or enroll in additional education. This bill will authorize state and political entities to waive certain post-secondary educational requirements for employment for eligible service members and veterans. The legislation requires Florida governmental agencies to develop and implement a veterans recruitment plan, which will result in more employment opportunities for veterans. It also enhances preferences given to veterans and their family members when a numerically based selection process is used for hiring. Enhanced veterans preference opportunities expands our ability to attract and retain top talent as another way to ensure Florida remains the most military and veterans-friendly state in the nation. And since we're signing these bills today, I also want to let everyone know that on June 9th, when Florida's Career Source Board has their board meeting, which will also be right here in Ponte Vedra Beach, that as part of that meeting, the board will officially be voting on Florida's annual budget for its Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funding. This is funding that goes to agencies like Career Source, the Department of Education, and the Department of Economic Opportunity. As part of this, 15% of the funds can be reserved by a state's governor for discretionary purposes to support innovative projects that enhance opportunities for employment and economic opportunity. So I've approved about $26 million as the governor's share for that plan, and we will have at least $7 million and maybe more dedicated to expand employment pathways and support services for Florida's veterans and for Florida's military spouses, and we'll be focusing specifically on homeless and disabled veterans. These $7 million in funds will provide targeted in-demand employment opportunities through career, training, and support services to active duty military spouses and veterans facing barriers to employment. So unemployment for veterans increased like everybody in 2020. Labor force participation decreased in 2020. We want to get that back and rebound. Things are rebounding generally, but we want to make sure the veterans are leading the fore. So we are going to be able to use these funds to do a lot of stuff to help veterans: housing assistance, financial counseling, access to military benefits, mental health and substance abuse counseling, transportation, and child care services. So I look forward to them approving that plan next week. I think it'll be a really good plan, and I think it yet again shows that Florida is here to stand with the men and women who stood by us. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank all these legislators who helped make it happen. We're going to hear from a number of them, and then I will go ahead and sign the bills into law. So, Senator Wright.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Governor, for allowing me to speak to you for a few moments. I just want everyone here to know that this governor is so veteran-friendly, and I am proud to serve under his leadership as chairman of the Military Veterans and Space Committee here in Florida. We are dedicated to all of our veterans, all of our current serving military members, to make sure that Florida is, in fact, the most veteran-friendly state in the country. Thank you all for being here.
All right. Good job. Danny?
Good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be in our governor's neck of the woods. We had the honor of having him back in ours, and we still owe you a pie. We forgot to get the pie from Sunrise Eatery, so I promise we'll deliver on that soon, guys. But when the governor charged us with embarking upon our Forward March initiative, which seems like an eternity ago, these were the things that we learned as we traveled the entire state trying to find where there were gaps in services, where there were areas where we needed to make sure that we were better supporting those who served us. And so, you hear a lot of things where we say we're the most veteran-friendly state in the nation. You go, and it's true, thank God, but it's true because of action. Because it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to take action. And we are very blessed to have a governor and a speaker and a Senate president who ensure every day that we're caring for those who cared for and looked over our shoulder and cared for us. And so these are products of those initiatives, of those discoveries, and that drive and desire to make sure that not only are we the most veteran-friendly state in the nation, but that we make sure that as veterans are starting their lives after service, learning how to take that uniform off, because we do such a good job of teaching them how to put it on, we don't necessarily do a great job of teaching them how to take it off. And so we here in Florida are hoping to be that landing pad, that place where veterans and their families know they can come and they can start their life after service, and that we want their skills, their unique abilities to be here in our state. The 922, the SB 922, I'm so proud of that bill. And it was an honor to work with Representative Buchanan on that, because that bill came from a constituent named Chris. I've known him for years. He's a Navy veteran. Chris is an amazing advocate, a great speaker, and an upstanding citizen, and a great advocate for veterans. And he wanted to apply for, and did apply for, and interviewed for a position that would have allowed him to advocate for veterans, to be a peer-to-peer type position. But because he didn't have his degree, he was barred from being able to have that position. And it's not that they didn't want to hire him, it was just that barrier. And so 922 allows governments to waive that barrier when they feel like they have an otherwise perfectly qualified candidate for that job. And so it was an honor to be able to bring something that we learned from home and to carry it up to Tallahassee and get it done. So I just want to end with, I'm so glad, Governor, that you mentioned veteran spouses. We all know that our spouses are the backbone of the military and allow us to be able to do what we do on a daily basis. And I think the same thing applies in a lot of realms of service. And so I think, being back in your hometown, Governor, it's only appropriate to recognize our amazing First Lady, Casey DeSantis. And your three wonderful, beautiful little children. They are just amazing. And I want to thank you, myself and my family, thank you for sharing your daddy with us, because Florida is so much better off because we have your daddy as our governor. Thank you.
So cute.
Good morning. I want to thank Governor DeSantis for helping ensure that Florida remains a very veterans-friendly state. It was an absolute honor to work with my Senate counterpart, Senator Burgess, on this very important piece of legislation. Today is a true win for our veterans here in Florida and for the state. Creating more opportunities for our veterans is what it's all about, while continuing to diversify our government entities. So I'm just so proud to be here with our governor, my Senate counterpart, and thank them for their involvement in this.
Thanks. Appreciate you. Tyler?
Thank you very much, Governor DeSantis. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyler Soroy from Brevard County. I have the honor having in my county Patrick Air Force Base, which is now our Space Force Base, right here in the state of Florida. It's a pleasure to be with you all today as we renew Florida's commitment to being the most veteran-friendly state in the nation. And the more that I hear you speak, Governor, I really do believe that we should make America Florida. Thank you very much.
I want to say how proud I am to be here in the presence of a great Navy veteran, Florida citizen. Thank you, Governor. And again, I have to say thank you for supporting the family like you do. We are the most veteran-friendly state. I want us to also be the most veteran-sought-after state in the nation. I want every veteran to want to come and live in Florida because who and what we do for our veterans, their families, their wives, and their kids. Right? That's what we need in Florida, because those are great Americans. They're good citizens, and I want as many of them here as possible. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor.
Sure you don't want to say anything? Okay. He's busy preparing for hurricane season. You know, we look at this time of year, and you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to ask the First Lady to come up in a minute. You know, it's interesting. I think about this area. When we got married, we bought our house. It's like 2009. The market was at the bottom. So then we moved to Tallahassee, and we were just like, we didn't know. So we sold the house, made a lot of money. But if I had just left it vacant and just I mean, everything's going up so much. I mean, we're totally priced out of the market. So, but we appreciate it. We also appreciate all these guys that have worked hard to support our veterans. And you know what? The people that wear the uniform in our country, they deserve our support and respect. But so do the people that wear the blue and support our public safety every day. And while you had all these movements in these insane cities to defund the police, and you see crime skyrocketing as a result of that, Florida stood by law enforcement. We passed the strongest anti-rioting bill in the country that said we're not going to let you defund law enforcement. And while they were trying to defund law enforcement, we said we'd fund them and then some. And these guys in the legislature approved at my request $1,000 bonuses for every law enforcement, fire, and first responder of the state of Florida. So we're proud of the accomplishments. We're going to sign this into law first, but first the First Lady's going to come up. And I think this is going to be Mason's first ever bill signing. Madison's a pro at it, so you can kind of come up. All right, here, why don't you stand on this side of that?
So we practice this. So you know what they say about practice. We'll see how it goes. But some people are saying, you know, why are you tempting fate bringing two small children, obviously, to a press conference with cameras where things could go a little awry. But I think it's really important for our family just to say thank you to all of those who have put on the uniform and have served their country with honor and distinction. And not only that, to the families. As a wife of a Navy veteran, a sister of an Air Force pilot, the sister-in-law of an Air Force pilot, the granddaughter of a Coast Guard veteran who served in World War II, it just means a lot. And so it's honestly an honor and a privilege for our family to be here to say thank you, and thank you to the legislature for signing this historic legislation. So thank you.
You guys can get behind here. Is today the 4th? 4th?
Yes.
Mason, give me one.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right. 1. All right. 4. 2021. All right, buddy, you got one for me?
He put his paw print.
Yeah.
All right.
He's like, you get the last one.
He's like, oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, last one. Good. Here we go. All right.
We only have 2 left. We only have 3 left.
Okay, Mason, you got? Can I get that one, buddy? Okay.
Good job.
All right, last one. I got to sign the last one. Thank you. All right, we've got 1. 2, hold that. Mason, hold that. Can you hold that? There we go. All right. There you go. Good job. All right. Now, here's some of these pens for the people. Here's some of these pens. There's everyone sit up there. Hey. Give these pens away to these guys. Ask who wants a pen and hand it to them. Thank you very much. If they want one, give them one. Just one. Yeah. All right, now get over here.
Governor, they're natural.
I know. All right, one more. Okay, who else needs one? Anyone else? You got one?
Well, you get 2.
Oh, you get 2.
We don't need permanent markers in the government.
There's only last 1.
Why don't you take it? You want to keep one for yourself? Okay. Here you go.
Good luck.
Okay. Well, they did a great job. We're really excited about it, and so I want to thank the kids. All right. Do we have anybody a question or two before I leave? Yes, ma'am.
Oscar Zeus is in a story last night involving hackers getting into people's unemployment benefits, but the state says they don't have any data on how many. Is there any reason why they don't have that data?
So the question is about trying to hack things like unemployment benefits. Well, I'll refer you to Danica. I can tell you, Florida, we've prevented billions of dollars in people trying to steal unemployment benefits. And some of these other states, they've lost tens of billions of dollars. You look at like a California. So we absolutely have data on some of the, I know we did $1 billion prevention of theft just in January of this year. So we'll refer you over there, but this has been a constant issue because people realize that there's an ability to get a lot of money. So they create fake identities, they go in there. And that's one of the reasons why when you do things like unemployment, there are some people to say just anyone that signs up, just give it with no verification. The problem with that is that you end up, that's tens of billions of dollars that would get put out. So you do have to do verification. We've done that. We actually process the claims quicker now than we did before COVID. We had much fewer claims then. But the fraud is a big issue across the country. I think Dane and DEO have done a good job, but there has been fraud everywhere. I think there's been less in Florida, some of these other states. But this is a cottage industry that's going on right now. Yes, ma'am.
Governor, Megan Moriarty with Action News. Question for you. You mentioned that, Florida went with freedom versus Fauci, and right now the big debate, cruise ships. Right now, the CDC is asking that for anyone to go on a cruise ship, they want 95%.
They're not asking. Let me just be honest. What the CDC is doing, this is why we sued them. The CDC closed cruise ships for 2 weeks, they claim last March, and they're still closed. They will issue these fiats. It has no basis in science and certainly no legislative authority for them to be doing this. So they did a conditional sail order in October, and you physically couldn't sail a ship under those conditions. And so we were making no progress. So what we did in Florida, we sued the federal government and we sued CDC to liberate the cruise ships from, basically, this is just an administrative overreach. But, the cruise ships are in a tough spot because the CDC, they may have a role about, enforcing certain things if there's an outbreak or whatever. I don't really know how far that authority extends. I know the authority doesn't extend to mothballing the industry for 15 months. And I know the authority doesn't extend to imposing effectively legislative requirements. And so I think we're going to win the case in district court. There was a mediation attempt. We were basically saying, honestly, just let them sail. Fine. But they're very unreasonable at DOJ. They believe, so the kids aren't permitted to be vaccinated under the EUA, and they're at such little risk. Most parents are going to decide not to do that because you don't know what the potential problems are going to be. But CDC says that you have to have 95% have to be vaccinated. That means you cannot have families going on these. And so they're issuing those dictates. And so if we win the case, it opens up. They will all sail out of Florida. They will all do it consistent with Florida law. We are not worried about that in any way, shape, or form. But just understand, this bureaucracy needs to be brought to account. You can't have a bureaucracy that's just going out and issuing these rules on the fly. They literally said, if you're sunbathing on a cruise ship, you have to wear a mask. Really? I mean, give me a break. And I think now with Fauci's emails, and you see all this stuff, it's pretty clear that a lot of this stuff was fly by the seat of your pants guidance. This was not based on hard data. In fact, there were people who were showing, pointing out about that this thing came from the lab. If you said that a year ago, corporate media said you were a conspiracy theorist. Facebook would deplatform you for saying that. Now, it's almost impossible to make the case it was natural because they haven't been able to do any linkage, and it's 15 months plus later. And so the lab leak is by far the most plausible explanation. And so we just have to ask ourselves, why was Fauci and these other people sending grants to Wuhan or some of these other places? I'm sorry, that is not an appropriate use of tax dollar money. And when he testified many years ago that doing gain-of-function research, the risk of having a pandemic is worth doing the research, I disagree with that. I think this has been a disaster what's happened, and China has covered it up. They need to be held accountable, but the bureaucrats in the United States also need to be accountable for what they did. All right, you guys ready? Oh, good. Good. Hey, Madison. Madison, look at this coin I got. You like that? You want to hold it?
Still think we're playing? Still think it's a joke? I know during these lives, I talk about flex it, buck fighting, leaving the communist states of North America behind. Still think we're playing? Still think it's a joke? It can be done. It can be done. But it takes work. It takes a lot of work. Now, real quick, just wanted to show you where he was speaking. I am speaking to you from this city right here, Palm Coast. I used to live up closer here to St. Augustine. Where he was is this area called Palm Valley, Ponte Vedra. Now, it's very, very close to Jacksonville, but it could not be any more different than Jacksonville. Jacksonville is Duval County. Ponte Vedra, Palm Valley, this area, this is St. Johns County. St. Johns County, the only place in St. Johns County that's even remotely somewhat liberal is extreme downtown St. Augustine. It's about as deep red Florida as you get. Just east of the St. Johns River, south of Jacksonville. This is where he represented. Prior to being governor, Ron DeSantis was a representative in our House. And that's really key because it's a lot of people celebrate the governor, and I do too. But it's not just him. It's all of our representatives. It's a lot of Floridians pulling together in places that aren't in front of podiums. He does get a lot of accolade, and he's done an incredibly good job of imposing the will of the people of the state of Florida. Florida is not a swing state. Florida is not a state on the cusp. Florida is a red state. And that has been established. Even the liberal media has had to come out and admit this, that Florida is going to be a red state for a very long time. They've even said they've never seen anything like this since Reconstruction, which is post-war of federal aggression. And it's going to get more conservative. He did. He grew up and he was initially, he was born over on the Gulf. That's absolutely right. And then he left for the Navy. And then he was a Judge Advocate General, JAG, officer in the Navy. When he came back, though, he lived over on the East Coast. That's where he met his wife, Casey. And I could do an hour-long video on Casey. She could govern a state. His wife. And if anyone's ever heard her speak, there was a live I did a few months back where she was talking about somebody or something, pardon me, and one of these reporters tried to corner her on something her husband did. And he was getting ready to go up and take the question. And she absolutely destroyed this reporter, not even prepared for the question. But she understood the topic and what was being said. And what it shows is that the governor takes counsel and is counseled by his wife. And they speak about things clearly at home and talk about governance and talk about the direction. She's an incredibly intelligent woman. And it's just more evidence. All of these bills, these press conferences, these things we do every day, these are put together by people other than the governor. They go through our House, they go through our Senate, they're approved by our courts. And oh, by the way, the entire Florida Supreme Court. I've mentioned this before, but I think it bears mentioning again. Every single member of the Florida Supreme Court is a member of the Federalist Society. For those of you who don't know who they are a libertarian, constitutional, conservative group that requires its members to adhere to the Constitution and literally adhere directly. We don't have one single, even remotely close to liberal or progressive on our Supreme Court. And when you look at the makeup of our Senate and the House, some of those guys make Governor DeSantis seem middle of the road. So anyway, I just wanted to cover this. And what he said there at the end was pretty telling. He has absolutely no fear whatsoever of speaking the truth, because he doesn't even necessarily have to speak truth to power. He is power. He's the governor of the state of Florida. And I know a lot of people use population numbers to determine size, but right now, failed state California, failed state New York, they aren't leaders anymore. They may have more people, but they're in a state of collapse. And all y'all in Texas, I would hope you guys get your shit together. I really do. I know there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good conservative folks there. But that whole thing where your power grid fell apart and what's going on with your governor, somebody needs to snatch him up and have a come to Jesus moment with him, or have him be replaced, because something doesn't smell right in Texas. And this whole issue up in Mount Rushmore, South Dakota, I know Kristi Noem's a good conservative too, herself, but she needs to tell the federal government, if you don't have a celebration at Mount Rushmore, the state of South Dakota is going to have one regardless of your opinion on it. Because it would be a cold day in hell that D.C. would come into Florida and say, Florida, you're not going to have this celebration, or you're not going to have that celebration because of this, that, and the other. That would not happen. That would literally not happen. It's almost laughable, that idea. So, anyway, she had mentioned she's the sister of a Navy pilot, the sister-in-law of a Navy pilot, Air Force pilots, daughter of a Coast Guard vet, and she had and wife of a Navy vet. So believe me, she understands very clearly the role of the military and how valued they are. But I'm just reading some of your comments here. The media outside of Florida is a huge problem. And I'm going to say this again. Hashtag New Free Republic of Florida. Flex it is real. We are moving forward with freedom. We are moving forward with sanity. You would think, based on what the governor's done, there would be these huge marches and protests and all of this problem in Florida if there were people like there are in the rest of the country. You see, the rest of the country lets it go on. And so when you let something go on, it will continue. Just like with kids, if you let them misbehave, they will misbehave even worse the next time. It's the same thing with liberals. When you smack them down every single time, they stand up. They stop standing up. They're cowards. It's in their nature to be cowards. That's what liberalism is all about. It's about codified cowardice. We just don't put up with that shit down here. We don't. You know, it was a funny thing earlier today. another channel who has taken issues with me putting the pictures up of girls in bikinis and all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that now, but said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go start putting up eye candy for the girls on my channel. And I told her, I said, well, you're going to learn a hard lesson about YouTube. You're not going to get a bunch of women coming to your channel. You're going to get a bunch of homosexual men coming to your channel and making wildly, horribly inappropriate comments. And that's just the reality of this platform. And it's what makes what you just saw with this live so important. It's just the reality. I mean, I'm probably going to broad brush here a little bit, but guys, young guys, most guys will go to the beach to girl watch. That's just what guys do. Now, girls go to the beach and they go there to get a tan, they go there to do whatever, and if a good-looking guy happens to walk by, they're not going to avert their eyes, but they don't go there specifically to guy watch. It's just how men and women are wired differently. We're two different creations. Men are men, women are women. That's what makes the family unit work. And we saw this today. We saw a man and his wife and their children. Little boy, little girl, normal nuclear family. Acting like a normal nuclear family does. So this is what Florida is. This is now the rebellion of Florida. The promotion of normalcy and sanity. Which to me is just, in my lifetime, I never thought it would be such a rebellious thing to say. A man and a woman getting together, having a couple of kids, having a family. That would be the standard of leadership in a country. And they have an absolutely beautiful family, absolutely fantastic. And Palm Valley, where they're from, Ponte Vedra, beautiful area, absolutely beautiful area. He even mentioned that he was getting priced out of the market. No lie, in Florida right now, there are so many people moving here. The media is actually hiding it. I know they talk about it a lot, but they're really hiding the numbers. We are having millions and it's not a lie, millions of people moving here. They're building houses as fast as they can. And if you put a house up for sale, it will be gone within the day. I don't care where it is. It'll be gone, and you'll get 30, 40% overvalue. And the values are going up every single day, by the way. And a lot of the time, it will be, depending on where it is, it'll be cash offers. They'll pay all the points. They'll pay all the closing costs. It's insane. It is absolutely the most insane thing. And it's, some areas, of course, are more busy than others, but it's every morning. And it's a blessing. I see it as a blessing. I really do. You wake up to the sound of construction. It's just the way it is, whether it's roofing, whether it's somebody swinging hammers, whether it's a cement truck idling up to pour a slab. Every stinking morning, you're waking up to construction. But it's life. It's a sign of a vibrant and thriving economy. And, they talk about, when I look in the media and I look at the stories from around this country and all of the problem and all of the angst and all of the heartache and all of the collapse and all of the worry It just seems like it's another planet. It really does. To Floridians, it seems like not just another country, but another planet. It's like Florida became this bubble of sanity and reality, which is ironic given the last 20 years of Florida man memes. Where they say, oh, Florida's crazy. Look what happened. Florida guy did this and Florida man did this. And, a lot of those are absolutely accurate. Things happen in a free state. Liberty is sometimes dangerous. It sometimes isn't perfect. But lately, when the chips were down and things got tough, you would not have wanted to be anywhere else. Thank God every day that I'm here, by the way. Thank God every single day. Never leaving. Somebody asked me, and I'll leave with this. Florida, Mikey, if you had to live in any other state, if you were forced to leave Florida, what other state would you live in? I had to think about it. And I said Brazil. And I truly mean that. I fear for anyone not living in Florida in the next 10 years. I truly do. Because even the conservatives in other states, where are their press conferences? Where are their pushback? Where are their laws? Where are their opportunities like this? I look for them. I would love to do lives every day where one is DeSantis and then the next day it's another governor and the next day it's another governor, conservative governors, putting together events like this where it's just a few people, a small gaggle of reporters, signing in a new law or a budget or something like this. Where are they? Where are they? I mean, I see Governor Noem on Fox News whining about Biden taking away her fireworks when she could literally say, you know what, fine, if Biden won't do it, we're going to do it. Where is the governor of Texas? Where is the governor of South Carolina? Where are the governors of all of these? Where's the governor of Montana? Where's the governor of Idaho? Why aren't they doing this? If they truly are who they say they are, as conservatives, true conservatives, freedom-loving, liberty-loving, constitutional conservatives, where is their pushback? I'd cover it. I would cover it every single day. In fact, it would be all that I would do. Talk about Antarctica, and we go to lives of conservatives across this country doing exactly what Governor DeSantis just did, but they don't exist. They don't exist. And that's sad. And that's why if I had to be forced to leave Florida, my next stop would be Sao Paulo or Brasilia. Because they have a leader down there that understands liberty too. And that country, Florida has 22 million people. Brazil has 200 million people. And is totally self-sufficient in food and in petroleum. So, anyway, I will leave it there. Let you guys have your day. God bless the governor, his children, Casey DeSantis. Would love to hear more from her, but being the mom of 3 kids, I'm sure she has got her hands full. So, anyway, we will see you tomorrow, of course, and tonight on Twitch. This game that we've been playing, by the way, it just started last night. It's called Subnautica Below Zero. It is literally the exploration of Antarctica. Somebody made a game. They just called it something else. You're exploring this planet called 4546b. And it's really a lot of fun. It's a survival game where you've got to collect food and collect water and collect resources. In an Antarctica-like environment. It's really cool. So, Anyway, we will see you guys tonight around 10 o'clock ish over on Twitch. God bless. We'll see you next time.